detail. So yeah, you guys actually got kind of interrupted. The Rock was doing, it was doing a, it was doing a number on a couple of you guys. What was helping the Vrock was you guys not having any kind of magical items to where it was, resisting all of your your arrows and your melee weapons. So that's what was hurting you guys with the Vrock. But you guys, had help from all of the other captors from that were in your pen back in Velkenvelv. So
We also rolled really, really bad.
what's that?
We also rolled really bad.
You guys did have some pretty bad rolls. But speaking about rolls, anytime you guys want to use one of your inspirations, because you guys have 3 of them right now, just let me know ahead of time, and in the lower left-hand corner, just hit that advantage button, the ADV, and it'll automatically roll 2 dice for you and take the best. So, but you guys had a little bit of a rest. You guys found a pretty nice thank you to Al and also to Sindar. You guys found a pretty nice little alcove that you pretty much recovered in, because you guys had been well, I think it was Jim Jar. I think he was the one that helped find that. But you guys had a pretty good rest. Everybody's back at full hit points, full spell slots. You have no clue what time it is. Have no clue what time of day it is. You guys have been in the Underdark now for about 10, 11 days now, and you've just kind of lost track of everything. And you know that you're miles beneath the surface. So you guys start traveling towards. You guys want to go to Sloob. You guys want to take Shushar, the Kuatoa that you guys actually was the only captive that was enslaved with you guys that you guys actually brought along with you, which kind of, I think it kind of pissed off Jim Jar a little bit, because you guys Brother Echo used that drow poison with his little trinket that he had found, the arrow, and jabbed Jim Jar, which put him to sleep. So, but
Al did that.
it was Al. Okay.
Came up with the idea, but
Yeah.
he didn't do it.
So he feels a little resentment there, Jim Jar does, and then you have a couple of the captives. They didn't make it. You guys know that the Prince Darendile, he was a Quaggoth. He was actually recaptured by the Drow, and Ront, the male orc, he was also recaptured. So, but you guys are on the way. You guys have been traveling through lots of corridors, lots of narrow walkways. Single wide, double wide. I'm gonna start playing some. Give you guys a little bit of ambient sounds and whatnot too. Whoa! Ooh, the Underdark. Whoa!
Yeah.
Ooh. So what do you guys? Are you guys looking for anything in particular now? Al, you're playing Lynx in the Library of Congress there. Thank you for playing again, Lynx. You're playing Al. He's a ranger, so he does a lot of survival stuff, a lot of tracking. He's basically, he runs point with. I think he's been running point quite a bit. So, is there anything in particular you guys are doing as you're venturing through all of these caverns and mazes, and tons of beautiful luminescent lights, light blues, light shades of purple, light shades of green, the fungus that grows, the mushrooms, all of the different types of fungus that's growing as well. You guys have survived a little bit on that, especially with the help of Val. He found enough food and water, foraged enough through these all of this different fungus of the Underdark. So what else are you guys doing? What are you guys talking about on your journey to? Because you have like another full day of travel. Basically, Shushar has told you that basically about a day travel to Sloob. And remember, Sloob also told you a lot that's actually kind of going on. Well, I'm sorry, Shushar has told you quite a bit that's going on inside of Sloob. Remember, the chieftain. They're worshiping the sea of the mother, and then the daughter of the chieftain. She started to kind of branch off, and she's claiming herself as now a priestess of Sloob, and now she's starting to have a pretty big faction of those Kuo-toa, and they're worshiping the sea of the father. So remember, there's a little bit of turmoil possibly going on in Sloob. And as for why Shushar is not there, he did tell you that he started to help the priestess, which is Blop. Remember, we're doing all these abbreviations for the Kuo-toas because they have these really long names. So Blop is the daughter of Ploop. These names, I love them. Plop and Ploop and Gloog and Klib. But anyways, she has started her own faction. So Shushar, he started, he showed support. And, Shushar was a pretty respected Kuo-toa in that tribe. And once the chieftain found out, he basically exiled Shushar from the tribe. And then as Shushar, gets exiled, he's going to try to find more Kuo-toa, and that's when the Drow come in and swoop him up. And then, the rest is history. He gets taken back to Velkenvelv, and then he was awaiting to be sold to another, Drow city of the Underdark, one of the major metropolises, like Menzoberranzan or something. So, but you guys know a little bit about Sloob as well.
What as far as the terrain that we're going over, is it like, basically, I'm worried about being tracked. I mean, obviously the other prisoners found us. They had a 1 in 3 chance of finding us. I can't really ask me. Well, I could ask Sareth. Actually, I'll say, Sareth, how did you all find us? Was it the noise of the battle that brought you to us, or?
Oh, yeah, it's like he said last week. Yes, we had actually kind of stumbled upon you last week as we heard, weapons clanging against one another and weapons beating on armor. That is actually how we found you. But no, they didn't, he actually had said that, no, they did not successfully track you. It was sort of like, the echoes of fighting is how they found you. That's why it took them so long to get there, is because of it's like a maze, and they kept going down all these corridors in which they had finally found you.
Okay, because I just wasn't sure if we had if there's like sand and dirt and stuff, if we're leaving a bunch of tracks, especially with as many of us as there are now, if we should be making efforts to try to conceal what direction that we're going in, or or if we can see. I mean, if Velkenvelv, I'm trying to think if there would be any, just general scout parties that may have already been out and maybe on their way back. I don't want to run into anybody that's on their way back from patrols, but I mean, if it's been a couple of days, we probably would have already seen something like that. So. So never mind.
Yeah, Jim Jar kind of chimes in there, and he says, "Well, the whole thing is we do have a dozen people here. It's not like we're going to be able to just conceal our tracks. It's not going to work like that, especially with 12 of us."
Yes. Yeah. That's okay. I just want to make sure.
Now, if it was
that we should be doing.
If it was myself and the ranger over there, I'm sure we could probably do a pretty bang up job on kind of concealing ourselves and let you fools die. But then again, the ranger's the one that stuck me with the arrow, and then the next thing I know is I get woken up by everyone else as you guys. I thought we were going to work a deal out, but anyways. That's water under the bridge. Welcome to the stream, CJS squared. We had another $15 donation too. What's up, man? Thank you. Let's see, really quick, guys. Looks like actually there was 2 more donations, a 15 and a 25. A anonymous donor says, think it's awesome you're doing this. It's such an easy thing to take for granted and just assume everything works out by itself. Give us some laughs with a critical fumble. So there we go. Everybody gets another critical fumble. So you guys have 2, and I have 2. And when I mean you guys have 2, it means you guys only have 2 between, you know, all of you. And then I have 2 to use against you guys. Thank you very much, anonymous donor. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And then we have another donator. This is from a. I'm not gonna put any names. So, you know, if you guys are contributing to this, please, you know, I appreciate it. Put your stream name, put your Twitch name in there. But there's somebody with the initials BK, and if you're in the channel right now, your $25 donation, let me know what you want to give to the group. Whether it be, you know, you can scroll down right below, you can buy the potion 10 gold, or maybe a critical fumble, maybe you want to give them inspiration, or a potion of healing, or maybe a crit. So if you're in the channel, BK, let me know what you want to give them. That's really nice, guys. We're up to $540 now. That's amazing, unbelievable. That is crazy. So I'm sorry about that, Velcor. You can continue. And you know, like I said, you know, today is a very loose game, so it's not going to be like just straight, you know, like we usually do, just 5 solid hours of gaming. You know, we're going to be doing a lot of breaking away and stuff like that.
Keep those donations coming in. We got no problem with
that.
That's not an interruption at all.
Yep. Yeah. Just keep them coming, guys. You know, you guys get to you know, buy perks for the game. You guys get to see me, you know, because you know I'm gonna be I'm gonna break a couple hearts today with that natural 1.
I bet.
It's okay.
Yes, I finally got a 20.
Don't go down, woman. Don't go down. I see a quick fumble on your saving throws.
I did buy us potions for a reason. Mine's in this pocket.
Hey, what's up, Shane Plays?
My body to get it. That's in my belt pouch right here.
Shane Plays. He says, "Hey, tabletopping." He says, "Dave, can we buy escarpments for extra extra life donations?"
No.
Oh, it's too good.
Okay, so yeah, that was all I had. I just kind of want to make sure that there wasn't something we could be doing or hadn't been doing, or I just don't want to get jumped by somebody in the dark here.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think Sandman was just saying that anybody can see who donates anyway, so I guess it's really no big secret, to be honest. And everybody can see who donates, you know, and they can see who donates what amount. So, holy cow! There's another donation just came in as well. Another $25 donation from Jim, and he says, "For the kids, what a great way to give support." I know there's nothing better than playing D&D, having fun, and making money for, you know, Arnold Palmer's Children's Hospital. It's crazy. Who would have ever thought, you know, back in 1984 when I was playing D&D on the playground for the first time with a bunch of kids in a new school that I went to, I would have never thought that, first off, we'd have something awesome like Fantasy Grounds, and you know, and then to be able to play with people around the world, besides going to a, you know, Gen Con or Orlando Con or something like that. Man, it's just how everything has changed since I started playing D&D. Holy cow!
I wasn't even born yet.
You young bucks in the channel, all of you young bucks. Jim, thank you so much for your $25 donation, man. Jim, what would you like to give the party? What would you like to give to the party? Also, Ben, thank you for your $25 donation. I appreciate it. What would you like to give the party as well?
Smothered out, but just keep enough where he won't fall down into a big old chasm.
Signal Flare,
And
thank you,
try to
man.
Stay kind of like close to Stoll and kind of like one of
Crit.
the party stops to wait on Al.
Thank you,
or
Noigo,
to
thank
give
you.
him directions or whatever. He starts like drawing little emblems in the ground and like drawing little pictures in the ground with his attunement, messing with the rock and all that stuff, trying to just entertain Stoll because he's seen that Stoll is like kind
Right
of
down
scared
below
and
Signal
kinda
Flare.
calming down.
Right beside the extra life widget on the right hand side. Noigo is Ben, and Noigo just give you guys crit. So you guys have 3 crits now. And Signal Flare's figuring out what he wants to give everyone. Man, it's amazing. So you're putting all kinds of, you're getting Stool to kind of like you a little bit, and like Sereth has told you last time, he says, don't get too comfortable with that Myconid. He's mine, He is property of me.
Only because you're better than him.
Oh, I've got
Nothing
stuff like
better
that coming,
than me.
writing by letters, that's for sure. That is definitely coming. Alright, so I'm going to give you guys a map here. I'm going to share, this map again. As you guys can see, there are a bunch of people in this big old party that we have here. there are so many people. This is crazy. This is the largest party that I've ever ran before. So as you guys are do what now?
I said we're like Slipknot.
Oh yeah. Jeez, there are so many people in that band. It's crazy. I think
And
that's.
it looks like there's people missing here because I don't see Shushar.
Shushar is not there, is he? I'll have to make room for Shushar once everybody starts to move up. So, all right, you guys are traveling basically single file. You guys can go ahead and start moving your tokens up. Now, you guys are traveling around in this. This is actually like a very narrow passage, and Shushar kind of stops and he says, I think I think we travel down this passage. We could probably save ourselves maybe a couple hours of time by traveling through this passage. So he thinks this is probably going to be probably a little bit of a time saver for you.
Anything we should be looking out for?
Well, as you guys are, coming in here, there's lots of lot of fauna on the ground, real small little cactuses, and really dark in color. There are stalagmites and stalactites. There's the floor is semi-damp. You can see small puddles of water on the ground. Now, and take into consideration, I would tell you differently, but it doesn't seem like the amount of moisture that's on the ground would, you don't think it would, inhibit your if you have to go into combat. So you don't think that you think that you'd be able to move normally without taking any kind of checks on keeping on your feet or anything, acrobatics or anything like that.
Unless we're tiny like Stool.
Stool, yeah. Stool's such a little cute guy. But as this single file passage actually kind of opens up. It opens up into a little bit wider area to about 20 to 25 feet wide, and you can see that it's split into several chambers. Let me break out Shushar also. I can't believe I didn't have him. I know why I don't, because he's just not he's not a combatant type. So there you go. Shushar's kind of up here as well, because he was kind of guiding you guys, telling you where to go. So Al's going around. Al, do you want to give me a sort of like a you want to give me a survival check?
Sure.
And the survival is on the second tab. You'll notice. I don't know if you've been goofing around. The 5e sheet is beautiful in Fantasy Grounds. You just go to the second tab on the right and just click on, just like the Savage Worlds sheet. You just click on the little
Right.
die. Makes it really easy. Fantasy Grounds, guys, if you haven't ever seen Fantasy Grounds, check it out. It's great. They have a free demo,
Found it.
and they have officially licensed products by Wizards of the Coast also. All right, so with your skill check, man, nice plus. But you can actually see a little bit of you can't deter if they're tracks that are several days old. Or, you can definitely see some tracks. But like I said, Al, you can't tell if they're more than a day old. You can't tell if they're really 20 minutes old. Just by the with the amount of moisture on the ground, the tracks are kind of just like blending in, and you're just having a hard time discerning how old these tracks are. Yeah, they did, Clueless. They did that yesterday. It was really nice.
Well, I'll
Doug
go back to
was-
the party.
Doug was he was kind of hinting to that
Unreadable.
during the interview last
I'd give
week
it a shot.
when he was here. And everybody is starting to move up also.
I'm proficient in survival. I wouldn't mind trying to take a look at them too.
Okay.
Is that something you want in the tower?
Yeah, and as you guys are coming into the more open area, Morvine and Al, you can see that these are actually rather large escarpments. Speaking of Shane Plays, and thanks for and Shane, he's having me on his radio show on Saturday. We're going to be talking about tabletop games Saturday. So Shane, if you want to put your links in the chat, go for it. It's never thought I'd be asked to do anything like that. It's pretty cool. We're going to talk about D&D and tabletop games in general and virtual tabletop. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, you guys can see some escarpments. They're about 15 feet up. And if it would probably take some kind of, they are pretty steep, especially with the precipitation in here. The escarpments, you'd probably have to do some type of strength climbing check to get up those escarpments. I love how you guys are just gingerly walking through this.
It's the
Well, you gotta also
everybody
figure
would
out-
slowly be walking through it.
It is,
especially
Mudhen,
with
yeah.
everybody else. we
One-time
gotta stay
purchase.
close.
Yeah.
So is that they're like on either side or right in front of us?
Yeah. Yes, on both sides, both on the left and to the right. You guys are now traveling in a northern direction. Water dripping all around you, puddles on the floor. You kind of gotta, peek around the corner. You don't know what's around the corners and whatnot.
Kira is standing close to Edith, trying to stick to her when she's walking.
Yep, Shushar's right behind you, because you are the translator.
Yeah, and he's my servant.
Whoa, I like that. And old Stool's just kind of bunk, 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 just wobbling along.
I would probably want to take. You said these are about like 10 or 15 feet high.
They are 15 feet. In some spots, and even further down a little bit, there looks like they're probably going up to about 20 feet.
Okay. Could Edith maybe give me a little bit of a boost up
I can do it.
to
I
kind
can.
of peek over the top?
Short, so it's not that high of a boost, but I can see what I can do.
Give me a perception check there, Morvine.
You want it in the tower or in the chat?
You can give it to me in the tower. When I say in the tower, that means that they're giving me a check that's silent. All right, and also I want to. You can go ahead and. You can go ahead and give me a roll, a climbing check with advantage, because seeing that Edith is helping you up.
So be the athletics.
Yeah, and Eldith comes over and she helps out her red-headed dwarven friend. you guys fumble around a little bit, but for a split second that you're able to pull your up over, kind of glance over the escarpment, you really don't see anything.
I told you, we're short. We can only lift you so high.
Yeah.
Hey, every little bit helps.
It does. Yeah, the basically
So, I
the
don't
tower
see
is
anything up there.
a role where
Maybe
they
it's pretty
can't
dark.
see, only I can
But
as the
nothing
DM.
took my head off.
It's in the lower
Took a
right-hand
swipe at me
corner,
when I poked my head
right
over
there.
the rim. So,
And I can
Yeah,
use
it's on
that
the
as
side.
well. Lots of options in Fantasy Grounds. Lots of options.
We'll take another step and maybe ask Go to help him boost him up. We'll try to check out the right side.
Yeah, we might also want to get Stool over quickly while we have tall people to help get him over. Tiny little thing.
Yeah, what's on the other side of the escarpment is just basically it was darkness. Of course there was fauna up there and more fungus and whatnot, but you really didn't see a whole lot up there. As everybody gingerly moves forward.
Nothing wrong with Ginger.
Totally baiting these guys. Totally baiting these
I
guys.
have to say that being the redhead.
I have to say that being a red.
I'm a redhead.
Naturally or died?
Professionals do not call it dyed.
Or whatever y'all call it.
And only partially naturally.
Give it to me in the tower. I think it was from episode number 1 there, Worm,
Release
wasn't
a
it?
mystery.
willing to allow Edith ladies first if she would like to take point with her
How
giant
nice.
weapons.
You guys know that I'm just going to troll you. I'm going to make you gingerly go through this map and nothing's going to happen. Because you guys usually think
We get
that
about
combat
10 feet
maps are...
anyway,
Yeah? Oh, every time Dave pulls up a map, there's always combat. Maybe there might not be this time.
I played in the Zombie Apocalypse game. There wasn't always combat every map.
Yeah, sometimes there was no combat for weeks at a time with that game. It was still pretty awesome when Lord Acid had to cut his arm off. That was pretty good. Right out the gate in the first game, that was good.
Anywho, since that was the first time Edith was called a
Exactly,
lady ever,
Potent.
she takes it. Happily obliges.
I bow and allow her to pass.
Yeah, all the others they start to file into the room also.
Dave, I pull out that
Mhm.
extra dart that has the sleeping poison.
Going good
or
so far,
whatever from the
Bubonic.
drow. I have it in my offhand while I have my short sword in my main hand. As Edith and Al move up, just in case I need to throw it real quick.
Yeah, because I believe you got one and Al got one, right? Al used
got one.
his, so yeah. Whoever.
No, the two of us got one, and so he gave his to Al to stab Jim Jar.
Okay, so yeah, whoever used the one on Jim Jar, that one's not. You have an arrow, but it just doesn't have any more draw poison on it. It's pretty much just a one-use thing.
So did I use mine, or did Al use his?
You actually used yours twice, now that I think about it, because I think you used it when we rushed the guards in the tower.
Yeah, it's you got an arrow, but
I've never used mine, but so I can give you mine. So I'll give mine to Al, or to Brother Echo.
All right. So let's